Hey guys, I'm Nat.
And I'm Ashton.
And we are the Nerds in Flannel.
Yeah, welcome back to the podcast, everyone. Today is a very highly anticipated episode that we've been hyping up since our first episode.
Episode 6? Hey, we started this podcast a week ago. To this day.
Yep.
And now we have 6 episodes out. We will. So,
Been on that grind.
We've been on that grind.
Yeah.
If you guys are listening, thank you.
Yeah, bless. But yes, today we are talking about, finally, the Book of Boba Fett Season 1.
Season 1. What a ride that was, man. Holy.
Man, I don't think I've ever seen the Star Wars fandom get more divided over, a Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau sort of collab. Dude. But I think people kind of came together nearing the end of the series.
Yeah, I think just because actually, you know what? Before we do anything, spoiler alert.
Yes.
Big, huge spoiler for anything Star Wars. I'm talking about anything,
including Clone Wars. Definitely Clone Wars.
Especially the Christmas special, because there was some Christmas special stuff in there which I really enjoyed.
True.
Yeah, baby.
Dang, I can just picture Nat lying in bed Christmas Eve, just watching this.
It's not that bad. The Christmas special is not that bad. Y'all are just salty that it's bad. It's fun, I guess.
Fair enough.
All right, Ashley, what do you want to start?
Wow. Why don't we talk about the series as a whole, kind of that end of Mando season 2 tie-in,
okay.
And things we liked in a broader perspective.
Okay.
Cool.
I'll start.
Dope.
So, I love The Mandalorian. I think it's some of the best stuff Star Wars has put out in a long time. I really like it when Star Wars has a concise story, and it's kind of a small story. Season 1 is almost perfect to me.
Yeah.
Almost perfect TV. There's some flaws I have, like pacing issues, acting choices, and also just sometimes things are not always clear. And then Season 2, it was mostly for fan service, I think.
Yep.
Season 2 was a season where it's everyone's theories came true. If you had theories. Yeah. But Book of Boba Fett, Season 1, turned out to be a lot better than I expected.
Yeah.
I really didn't expect it to be that great, just because when Boba Fett came into the Mandalorian story, I didn't really enjoy him. I didn't think Timon Morrison was a very good actor. And I don't think, he portrayed Boba Fett really well, because he's kind of old now. I understand that he's a clone of himself, of his dad. But, still, it's kind of weird to see chubby Boba Fett. Yeah. No offense, Tamora, man. Dude, but, come on. Yeah, but season 1 of Book of Boba Fett was very good. I want to say it's very good. It hit a lot of the sweet spots for me, especially when it came to cameos and just storytelling beats. I did like how they explained how he got out of the Sarlacc pit and how he got raised by the Tusken Raiders and how their death was his motivation. Kind of like an Anakin Tusken Raider situation, but reverse the roles.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think Dave Filoni's episodes were the best episodes.
Yep.
Thanks, Daddy Dave. God bless. But we'll get into it. But I want to talk about the last episode.
Okay.
Episode 7 a little bit more into depth, because I think that's where things slightly fell apart.
Yeah.
I know Ashton, you have issues. I know we talked about very briefly, but I think the way that Star Wars is going, I'm very excited to see what they do. I would want more smaller stories that have more character development, but give us backstories of characters that we know and love. I would love. Is Ahsoka getting her own series?
Yeah, she is.
Okay, then that's what I want.
Hayden's gonna reprise his role, baby.
That's right. And Obi-Wan's coming. So I'm actually really excited for the next couple years of Star Wars. Ashton, your thoughts.
Yeah. So when the first couple episodes of Boba Fett, I kind of had my expectations settled on, okay, cool, this is going to be like more of a world building story. Kind of like, it felt kind of like the Mandalorian season 1, and where, like we do in this case have a beloved character, but we're also kind of seeing like, we're not seeing too many other people coming, like maybe a couple people from the comics or whatever, like Santo and the Wookiee bounty hunter and
what's his name? Tessarian? Takari? I don't know.
Boba calls him Santo. I'm just sticking
Santo,
with that. And it also kind of like, I kind of had my expectations there. I thought it was kind of cool, like, because when you see Boba Fett appear in Mando Season 2, he's kind of an anticipated character after you know that his armor's, like, in the
first episode.
In the first episode. Yeah. You're like, oh, shoot, like, they're going this route. Boba's going to have to show up. And then with that one episode where Boba comes in and just absolutely, like, kicks ass.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah.
Yeah, it was like, it was, I thought it was pretty dope, but also, the backstory was like, there's some mystery here. So when the show was announced, I was in for it. Then when they kind of started, like, getting into wider Star Wars stuff, that's when I felt like the show had kind of gone off the rails a little bit. It was kind of cool to get a closer look at, like, the Tuskens and just all the different tribes and how different, like, that tribe was compared to some of the other ones we've seen in previous Star Wars IPs before. And I thought I was kind of, like, happy that it was going to be more of a world building thing, and then it kind of turned into, like, this other thing, which I also liked, but I felt like the show couldn't really decide what it was going to be. It felt like, for context, there were 3 executive producers and writers for this show. So Jon Favreau, Daddy Filoni, and then also Robert Rodriguez, who did, for those of you who don't know, he directed that episode with Boba Fett in The Mandalorian Season 2, and he also did other things like Spy Kids and some other kind of like action movies. He's a big action movie kind of guy.
He mostly does like B-list action movies.
Yeah.
I think he did Machete with Danny Trejo. That's a good movie.
True.
That's fun.
And dude, when Danny showed up in this show, I was hyped. Like, I wanted to see more of him as like as like a Rancor trainer. Yeah. And then we just only got that like one glimpse.
Oh, he did Alita Battle Angel.
Oh, okay.
That's an underrated movie.
I haven't seen that one.
Shark Boy Lava Girl, baby.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought overall it was okay, and especially episode 6, I was like super hyped for.
Yeah.
But also, like, if you're naming the series Book of Boba Fett, it should have more Boba Fett. Yeah. I think they could have, if they named it something else. I don't have any like cool names. It could be something about like bounty hunters or something like that. If they had named it something that wasn't like building up the expectations. I know they wanted the focus to be around Boba Fett, but then they kind of took it and put him in an expanded universe where he just feels a little more shallow as a character. Yeah. It was, I don't know. That's my biggest gripe, I think, with the show overall.
Yeah, it kind of took away from what we wanted to see. I could have done a whole 7 episodes with just Boba Fett and Fennec Shand taking over Mos Espa. Yeah. That's like all I wanted. I wanted like this crime, like, I wanted a Star Wars Western. Yeah.
I think though, like, this show is probably the closest we've gotten to sort of a traditional Western. Yes, exactly. I like how, like, George Lucas, when he made Star Wars, he wanted a sci-fi that was heavily inspired by Western movies and also by samurai movies. Yes.
For those who don't know, Star Wars Episode 4, the first... Actually, I'm just going to call it Star Wars, because that's what it's technically called. Star Wars was inspired by Seven Samurai by Kurosawa. I can't remember his first name, but let me Google it real quick. Man, I cannot spell. Oh my goodness, I can't spell samurai. That's embarrassing.
1954.
Yeah, 1954, directed by Akira Kurosawa. What did I say? Did I say that? Did I say Kurosawa? Whatever. Yes. No, Akira Kurosawa came out in 1954. Probably one of the most influential movies. It's 3 hours and something minutes long. Dang. It's very long. But yeah, that was the base for George Lucas for Star Wars. That's why, if you guys look closely, Darth Vader's armor is based off samurai armor.
Yeah. It's actually, it's pretty dope. Like, just the different inspirations he's had for Star Wars. And like for this show, setting it on Tatooine and like the desert, like Western planet, and then having like characters like Cobb Vanth. Big spoiler coming up, Cad Bane as well. So coming in.
Cad Bane, holy.
Oh, that's it.
I lost my mind.
I lost my mind too. We should dive into our thoughts on that after.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like I thought it was pretty good, like at portraying a bit more of a Western kind of thing, except for the episodes where it didn't, and you kind of lost the illusion of that a little bit more. Yeah, it was. I think it was okay overall, but I really enjoyed the episodes with world building. And then as a fan, I did enjoy a lot of the fan service stuff too.
Yeah, there was a lot of fan service, like, in this season. But it wasn't as much fan service as there was in Mandalorian Season 2.
True.
There was just so much fan service. I'm like, we get it. It's Star Wars.
Yeah.
I'm a big Star Wars shrill. Like, I would watch anything Star Wars. But even that was a little much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things that, for me, puts Star Wars over different movies like Lord of the Rings is the amount of world building that they've done based off of the original stories.
Lord of the Rings isn't that good. Hot take. It isn't that good.
I agree. We should do an episode on that.
We should do why Lord of the Rings isn't that good. We're going to get so much hate for that.
We're going to get so much hate.
Especially with the new TV show coming out.
True.
Guys, no, it's good. Like, it's good. It's just not my thing.
Well, the new TV show might make it better for me. We'll see.
Yeah.
Like, the big problem I have is world building, because they tell you about it, but you don't actually know it because you're not immersed in it.
And The Hobbit's trash.
And The Hobbit's trash, agreed.
It's absolutely trash. And Lord of the Rings fans will agree with us on that one.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, like, what series like this are supposed to do is kind of help with hyping up without overshadowing the story, the
Yes.
mainline story. So I guess technically to Disney, that's episodes 1 to 9. And yeah, that's kind of the goal of it. And okay, in some of the scenes at first, like that flashback of like Boba Fett watching Jango leave from Kamino, that was like perfect. That was like a perfect amount of fan service because it made sense.
I want more of that.
I want more of that too. It made sense to his story. And I think even adding Cad Bane in a little later made sense.
Yeah, I'm glad he came in for 2 episodes.
Yeah.
But then he just, spoiler, he died like a chump. He honestly kind of died like a chump.
Yeah.
Got stabbed with a freaking Tuscan spear thing, mabobber.
I hope we can see more of him. Like,
He's dead now.
He's dead now, but if they put more stuff, like maybe if they did a series that kind of
He could be in Ahsoka.
He could be in Ahsoka.
And Kenobi? Yeah, he could be.
He could be in Kenobi. If they did more series that take place in between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope,
yeah,
he could be in that and like be a lot better, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about Cad Bane now?
We should. We're on the topic. We also talk about it.
Yeah.
So, for those who don't know, Cad Bane's pretty much a cowboy in space.
Yeah.
He's a space cowboy. Dude, he has a freaking cowboy hat on, and I think that's so cool.
Same.
Like, dude, how baller do you have to be to wear a cowboy hat in space?
And Dave Filoni wears one IRL.
I know. And Robert Rodriguez too, man.
Yeah.
Yo, if you're a real Star Wars fan, you gotta get a cowboy hat.
Yeah.
Also, I'm a big fan of Yellowstone, so I gotta get a cowboy hat.
Yo, want to go to Bass Pro and buy a cowboy
Yo,
hat?
Bass Pro, want to sponsor us?
Please.
You can get some free cowboy. Do they have cowboy hats?
Oh, they do. I've almost bought a couple there, like multiple times.
Are they like good quality? How much?
They're really good quality.
$100-something?
Anywhere from $50 to $100-something.
Oh, think about it. Maybe that's like a birthday gift.
Yeah, true.
Well, boy, hey, same birthday month.
True.
Yeah.
We'll buy each other cowboy hats.
Yeah. All right, wait, who are you talking about? Cad Bane. Yo, yeah. So Cad Bane to me was always a character that I feel like didn't get enough attention.
Yeah.
He's so cool in the Clone Wars. I mean, he pretty much kills like over a dozen Jedi.
Yeah.
Because he's an assassin technically. He is an assassin, and I just love how drawn out his character is because he seems to have a lot of relationships with a lot of Jedi.
True.
And other people that isn't fully fleshed out in the Clone Wars. So he's one of those characters I always wanted more to see him in this show. It was just awesome. But yeah, like I said, the way he went out was kind of stupid.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted more. I wanted him to die in like a fiery inferno. But man just gets stabbed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like the way I kind of feel about it. the death makes sense.
Yeah.
But also, you just introduced this really dope character in live action.
He looks really good.
He looks really good. I know that was pretty controversial. People want him to look more like the Clone Wars, but dude, no one in the Clone Wars could actually like physically be a human being.
Nope.
The way their noses are designed, the way everything, and I know like he's an alien and whatnot, but it makes sense to have him looking more humanoidish in this.
It was like Rango. Have you seen Rango?
Yeah. Facts. Lizard boy. But yeah, I think like with Cad Bane, from what I understand, part of his origin story, he was kind of mentored a little bit by Jango Fett before the Clone Wars and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then later on in the Clone Wars, you get episodes of him mentoring Boba Fett with all these other bounty hunters, and that becomes like a really big influence for Boba.
Yeah.
And yeah, there was a deleted scene actually in Clone Wars season 7 before all that fiasco happened that they didn't include when they released season 7 eventually, and it was a face off with Boba Fett wearing his armor, like a young Boba Fett wearing the armor, going against Cad Bane, and it was kind of in a duel like what they showed on screen, but instead of him being stabbed like a chump, Boba Fett actually like won like the draw, but he got hit in the helmet, and that's kind of why he has that dent in his helmet with Cad Bane's blaster.
Oh, that makes sense.
The deleted scene's online. You can watch it if you can find it.
Yeah.
Super dope though. I kind of wish that happened, but also the fact that they left him alive and he showed up in like the Bad Batch and stuff was pretty cool. And hopefully he can show up in live action and more stuff. But yes, I think Boba Fett did need to kill him. Mm-hmm. And I know they wanted to be a little poetic with showing the like Tusken thing, but honestly, I think it would have been a lot cooler.
It's too much.
It's too much. It would have been a lot cooler if Boba Fett like just won the duel outright without having to rely on that blaster.
Yeah.
It did show Cad Bane a little bit more as like a badass, and you kind of see like in his older age he's kind of getting a little out of it.
Yeah.
But like again, you just introduced this character that the whole fandom's going wild about.
When that happened, there were memes, everyone was hyped, man.
Yeah. And then you just kill him that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was, I understand, but like it would have been better, I think, if they showed him actually getting weaker in like another show.
Yeah.
I want a Cad Bane show now. Could you imagine?
Too many shows, man.
That'd be like the ultimate Western.
That would be the ultimate Western.
Yeah.
No, Book of Boba Fett season 2 is going to be a Western.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they do a season 2, as of right now, we don't know if there's one being planned.
Yeah.
It could just be a one-off show, and he could show up in more things like Mando occasionally. But I mean, they're calling it season 1, so we'll see if it's a limited series or if they're going to continue it.
I think there's going to be a season 2. You
Okay.
can't just leave it where it left.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll see. I'd be down for a season 2, but maybe just get Robert Rodriguez like consulting on some of the action sequences instead of some of the writing. Because you could tell some of that writing in there wasn't up to like Filoni and
that dialogue's tough sometimes.
Yeah. It was interesting.
I mean, to be fair, Star Wars has never been a dialogue driven type of property. Yeah, no, I want a Star Wars drama where like no, I'm kidding. I don't want a Star Wars drama. Imagine like a black and white Star Wars movie. Ooh, actually, that's kind of cool.
That would be kind of dope, actually.
That's actually kind of cool. Yo, should make a fan film, black and white fan film. I want a romance between. Who do I want a romance between?
Ooh,
I want a bromance between Anakin and Obi-Wan. Black and white. I want to see them just going out to eat some like Jawa meat or something.
Jawa meat?
I don't know what type of meat they eat.
Furry.
They are. Yes, Jawas are furry. But bantha meat? I don't know. What do they eat in the Star Wars universe?
I got no idea.
What do humans eat? What do humans eat in the Star Wars universe? That's what I want to know.
They've showed some stuff in the Clone Wars, but you can't make it out because it's animated. And then there's some stuff in live action. Like all we really know is like blue milk.
Blue milk and green milk.
And green milk. Friggin' Luke.
Dude, I can never unsee him milking that thing.
Same. It haunts my dreams. Daddy Luke. Okay.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. So why don't we talk about like episode like 5 and 6 because those were kind of the standout.
5 and 6. Well, Scala, I need a refresher.
So episode 5 was the episode of the Mandalorian.
Oh yeah.
So it was pretty much Mandalorian season 3 or season 2 epilogue, as I kind of called it.
Okay.
And then you have episode 6, which is
all the crap goes down.
All the crap goes down. So you see like Grogu, you see Luke, a better CGI'd Luke. You see Ahsoka interacting with Luke. I waited like my whole like life to see that.
That's actually that was a nice episode. I really like that episode.
I remember playing like Lego Star Wars: The Clone Wars. And you could unlock Luke as, like, a secret code character.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, I would always kind of, like, get one of my siblings to play as either Ahsoka or Luke. And we'd just, like, go on adventures together. Because I thought that was kind of cool. It'd be kind of cool if they did that.
Yeah. Why don't we talk about episode 5?
Sure.
So that is the Return of the Mandalorian. And, dude, I think that's my favorite episode of this season. I know it's Book of Boba Fett, but it's Mandalorian now. Yeah. No, I just really liked it. It added more story building more character development to Din Djarin, and seeing him with like the armorer and whatever. What's the other guy's name?
Is it Pal Vizsla? I think
Pal Vizsla. Okay, let's say it is.
Yeah.
And then they fight over the Darksaber. I think that's a really good like scene to have because there's only 3 Mandalorians left.
Yeah.
Because of the fight on I can't remember the planet.
Paz Vizsla.
Paz Vizsla. Yeah. That's the name. But like they lost most of them in season 2 of the Mandalorian. And I think having interconflicts like that really work in that type of settings because Mandalorians are like all about the Mandalorian code and this is the way. And honestly, just seeing Mando just like slice some guys up in a butcher shop with that Darksaber was like, dude, that was good. Dude, that was so good.
I was watching like Daredevil season 2 episode 1, and they kind of had like a butcher shop scene in that episode, and I was just like, yo, this is some like Mando stuff going on right now.
Butcher shop scenes are the way to go.
They're the way to go. They're creepy enough.
Have you seen the Raid movies?
No, I haven't.
Okay, you should watch The Night Comes for Us.
Okay,
it's on Netflix. It's rated R because it's like a raid type movie. So it's like a Chinese Japanese type of like action film, and those go really hard. There's a butcher shop scene, and I would never get that out of my head. Dang. It is probably some of the coolest action and goriest action that I've seen in a movie. Yeah, it's so cool.
I'll have to check it out.
Oh, but get back to episode 5. And then after that, Mando gets to, Tatooine and needs a new ship. That Naboo starfighter is sick.
It was so cool.
That thing flies. I like, there's no surprise that we're kind of prequel fans.
Yeah.
And I think the coolest ship from the prequels was either the Jedi like starfighters, like the ones that have the fold out wings, from like episode 3, from the beginning of episode 3.
Yeah, like the Jedi Interceptors.
The Jedi Interceptors, yes, and the Naboo starfighters. And when she pulled off the tarp, I thought that was a pod racer.
Yeah, same.
I thought it was a pod racer, and then I got a closer look, and I'm like, wait, no, that's a Naboo starfighter.
Yeah,
dude, I love that.
Dude, it's such a cool ship. I love like how he's kind of going into like this starfighter. It kind of makes him a little more agile.
Yeah.
What I do miss about the Razor Crest though was all the cool crap he kept in it, like the carbonate like machine and all this other stuff that was like very like Mandalorian-esque or Bounty Hunter-esque.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to see he's a little less ruthless than he was in season 1. That as part of his character development.
Thanks, baby Yoda. Thanks, Grogu.
Bless you, Grogu. So it kind of it makes sense for him to have something like this, I think.
Yeah. Oh, what else I was gonna say? Oh crap, I don't remember.
This is a great place to take a commercial break.
Yes, man. You need a break when you can't think of anything.
Yes.
All right, guys. Enjoy a word from our sponsor. Hey guys, this episode is sponsored by Anchor.fm. Anchor.fm is the best way to edit and record your podcast. We've been using, Anchor for all of episodes, and it's worked perfectly. But it's come to a point where we want to start like making premium content, and to unlock that premium content, that's going to cost you $5 a month as like a premium member of our podcast, and it'll cost $5 a month. And Ashton, tell them how they can subscribe to our podcast.
Yeah, so if you wanted to support our channel, our podcast channel, that is, go to anchor.fm/nerdsinflannel. Again, that is anchor.fm/nerdsinflannel. We thank you for your support.
Thank you, guys. Enjoy the rest of the episode. Hey, guys, welcome back to the podcast.
Welcome back.
That was very aggressive. I'm sorry.
Caught me off guard, but you know what?
All right,
We'll go with it.
As of like every episode, we're going to do one thing that we always do on this podcast. We'll say channel. I'll use the YouTube speech. Ashton, right? 3, 2, 1. Sorry, headphone listeners. Today we're sponsored by Coca-Cola.
Please.
The original taste. Good original. Delicious and refreshing. Delicioso a rough whatever. I don't speak Chinese.
Pretty sure that was, French.
It's definitely not French. All right, Ashton. We talked about episode 5.
Yep.
It's episode 6 time.
Okay. Actually, I think...
What are you thinking?
Can we just talk for a second about, like, how Mandalorian is, like, he's kind of a little bit more of a compelling character than Boba Fett.
100%.
I think that also that's a nice segue into episode 6.
Yes.
I was having this conversation with a friend a little bit before. I think, like, Boba Fett was an ambitious show because he's already a beloved character and people love him because he's sort of like this in the shadows kind of like, a bit of his rough backstory. But he's just kind of like supposed to be a badass. So when you like try to make him a little more compelling, there's going to be things that fans don't like about him. Whereas if you have a new character like Din Djarin, you have like the sky's the limit with character development.
Yeah.
And I think we saw a lot of that in episode 6 as well.
Yeah. So, man, I can't talk today. For those who don't know, Mando Din Djarin was very like vicious in season 1.
Yeah.
Until he met the baby Yoda, Mr. Grogu himself. And I think that really softened him. And a lot of people say that in the actual like show.
Yeah.
And you can tell just like he doesn't want to create chaos anymore.
Yeah.
Because he went to find trouble in like the earlier episodes, but now he has like a son to look after and like friends who care about him and friends who he cares about. And I think like Ashton said, that's a lot more compelling than what we see from Boba Fett. I'm really excited to see what happens in season 3 of Mandalorian.
Same.
Because I feel like there's going to be more Jedi because of Grogu. I really want to see... I know this is going to be a hot take, but I want him to take off his helmet.
Ooh, yeah.
I think... it's like... Imagine like a Sith who knocks off his helmet and like he has to fight without a helmet on.
That'd be pretty dope.
I would... Like, that would... Oh, man. He would never recover from that.
Yeah.
But like... That'd be kind of cool!
Yeah.
Pedro Pascal's a handsome man.
Facts. And what I kind of also liked about what his episodes in the Book of Boba Fett did is like they showed him getting kicked out of like his order pretty much.
Yeah.
And he kind of goes a different route from like what a character like Anakin did when he wasn't like granted the rank of master, when he had like problems with his order.
Yeah.
Mando's still sticking to the code. Or even with like Ahsoka. Like she didn't completely stick to the Jedi code. Mando's still sticking to the code.
Yeah.
Even like the dialogue in the last episode, he's like, "This is the way." When talking about like fighting to the death with Boba Fett and all this other stuff, like he's a badass.
He is, yeah. And the way that he kind of carries himself, like I want to talk about like why he does things.
Yeah.
Because he didn't need to go back to that mechanic lady, but because he has a relationship with her, it's awesome. He's been making relationships along the way, and I think for me that's the most compelling thing.
Facts.
Especially with Cobb Vanth, who let's talk about. Actually, no, we'll talk about in episode 7 review. But
sure.
Well, he's also in this episode too.
Yeah, in episode 6.
Yeah, Ashton. Let's talk about episode 6.
Let's do it. Let's finally do it. Dude, when the episode opened up with Cobb Vanth just like, doing his thing, you see he's still active even without like the armor.
Yeah.
And he's like still, like
I'm being the sheriff around these parts.
Yeah, being like this classic westerny like sheriff sort of kind of guy.
And Timothy Oliphant's handsome, man.
Oh, 100%. He's like what I want Ryan Reynolds' dad to look like.
Yeah, I remember watching that episode with Ashton, and he said that verbatim.
Yeah, 100%. I'm sticking with that.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, I loved also kind of like seeing Spice, like what Spice looks like in Star Wars. For the first time. Like I'll be real, I haven't kept up with like every single Star Wars comic, so I don't know if they already showed that. Mm-hmm. But like in a live action kind of story, it was really cool to see. And dude, like just the way that whole episode works, Daddy Dave, thank you.
Oh my gosh.
Like, okay, Dave Filoni is definitely kind of more the fan servicey guy. Mm-hmm. And this episode was all fan service.
Yes.
I kind of think people were getting a little tired of like all the Boba Fett stuff, if I'm being real.
Yeah.
Because it couldn't, again, like it couldn't really decide what it wanted to be. And I think kind of going back to like more of this Mandalorian-esque sort of format was really like good for the show. It kind of got the community to agree on things and kind of unite over shared interests.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think I mentioned this before, but seeing like that scene with Ahsoka, and like Luke, that was just like phenomenal.
What planet was? Do we know what planet that was?
Some people have said it's Endor. I'm not sure. I don't think they've revealed that yet. But because of all the trees and stuff.
What if it's Yavin?
It could be Yavin.
That's what I'm
thinking. Well, wait, Yavin was blown up, wasn't it? Or no, it wasn't. Like the Empire invaded it, so like it could potentially be Yavin. But it looked too small to be Yavin. Or sorry, too big to be Yavin.
So Mando, this takes place where again? In the universe?
Like timeline wise?
Yeah.
This takes place, I think this one's still about 5 years after
6?
After 6. 5 to 6 years after 6.
It could be.
So it could be.
Because in episode 9 it wasn't that Yavin? I don't remember.
I don't remember either. I'll have to rewatch episode 9.
I think it is Yavin.
Dang. Okay. Well, if Yavin's still there, that's pretty dope.
Whatever. Yeah, good for Yavin, man. It survived.
Yay, Yavin. I'm like, yeah, obviously it wasn't blown up by the Death Star, but I do know like in the comics and stuff, and I think even in Empire, in the opening scroll, they talk about how they had to evacuate, so they could have gotten it back from the Empire.
True.
But yeah, anyway, it was kind of cool, like that last line in episode 5 when Mando was like, "Sure, I'll help you out, but I gotta like go pay a visit to a little friend first." I was like, "Yo, are they actually gonna show it, or are they gonna kind of do a little bit of what the Book of Boba Fett did, what Mandalorian season 2 did with Boba Fett, where he just kind of comes in after having all this development, and then you get a show about what happened beforehand?" So like, I wasn't sure if like we were gonna see Mandalorian in the next episode, and that would kind of kick off the war. And then Mandalorian season 3 was going to be based off of what happened in between those events. Yeah. I'm pretty happy they went this route though.
Oh, absolutely.
Dude, seeing like I can't talk. Seeing Luke train Grogu was just, oh man, I got chills.
Yeah, I guess I'm serious. What? Oh. I met him in Dagobah vibes. Yeah, Dagobah vibes. I just sing the song to know to remember the planet.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, and again, Ahsoka, Luke, that was so cool. I'm still shaken up by it. I've talked about it so much.
It's so cool, man.
So cool still. Get over it. And then also kind of seeing like the robots building like those huts and stuff, and probably building a Jedi temple. Yeah. That was pretty cool. And also like Luke, I'm still confused about him, because we're seeing him now kind of as we wanted to see him in like the sequel trilogy, more of like a Jedi, like still that selfless Jedi. Yeah. So I'm kind of curious how they're going to develop Luke later on. Yeah, it's interesting though, still seeing him like fresh off like saving the galaxy and trying to do all this stuff for rebuilding the Jedi Order. It was kind of cool to get that insight in a live action format.
Do you think that's the planet with the same Jedi temple as it was in Episode 8?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, that would make a lot of sense.
But we don't. I don't know if we know what that planet is yet. Still.
No, I don't think we do.
Yeah.
So it would. So it's not Yavin then.
Yeah.
So if it takes 5 years after, Kylo would be. Well, we don't know when Han and Leia did stuff. So actually, no. The timeline would work out to where it is now, dude. I want more Kylo Ren, please.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Okay. back to Mandalorian.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
What did you think about that last scene in Episode 6 with Luke giving Grogu the choice?
See, Ashton, we talked about this off camera.
We did.
And I knew he's going to take the chainmail.
Yeah.
Because first of all, we don't hear anything of like Grogu after like with Luke.
Yeah.
And I think in order for Din Djarin to do anything, he really needed to see Grogu. Grogu's his son now, their family. They're pretty much inseparable. And I really like that because Din Djarin gets to see the Force being used, and we get to see the Force being used.
True.
Which is really cool. But dude, seeing Yoda's lightsaber, I'm just who's gonna get that lightsaber now? Luke, tell me. I need answers.
Facts.
I need answers. I just really love that scene because, like, that's the Jedi way. There's two paths. There's the light side and the dark side, and maybe the path that Grogu chose will be dark, but it's with like the guy he loves. At this point, especially at the end of season 2 when he took off his helmet and like they hugged. That was so cute. Yeah, and there's some cute moments in Episode 7 too with them, and we'll talk about that. But like, yeah, I think Luke giving him that choice was almost like Yoda giving him the choice. Like I said, a lot of parallels happening between him and Grogu, especially like with Grogu on the back. But yeah, and training with like the frogs and the stones. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't feel quite the same about this, and I'll tell you why.
Okay, go for it.
Mandalorian season 2, that last episode was just like amazing. Completely blew me away. And the ending, seeing Grogu like going back to Luke, because like Luke was his people, the Jedi were his people. I thought that was beautiful. Mm-hmm. I think, like, at the very least, I would have liked to see Grogu spend more time there.
Okay.
Like, training with Luke, because realistically, it was only probably, like, a couple of days. Okay. Or, like, maybe not a couple of days, like, maybe a couple of weeks, but that still doesn't seem long enough for him to have been training to make that kind of ending of The Mandalorian Season 2 mm-hmm. to have all the meaning it did. I kind of felt like what I would have liked to see, and I get kind of having Grogu and Din Djarin back together made sense, but I was kind of like hoping that maybe like Mandalorian Season 3 would have Mando like use some of that passion and some of that like love that he's gotten for Grogu to go out and do more good and to kind of like change, or maybe he could have still had some like resentment or hurt that Grogu left and he was going to go back and just like do all this other stuff. It would have been cool to see like how they could have taken his character. Right. But like, I'm not upset that they did what they did. I just think it kind of like does a bit of a disservice to that finale.
Yeah.
But who knows? Like, what my ideal thing that I would have liked to see is we get a shot of Grogu with both the chainmail and the lightsaber, because he's just like, yo, Luke, I sense like Mando's in like some deep trouble right now.
Yeah, he's like.
Exactly.
I don't know why I did that.
If the face he made when he was making that noise was even funnier than the audio.
Yeah. It's on the subtitle it says cooing.
Yeah, true.
Like, that's kind of
cooing.
That's kind of cute.
But yeah, I think it would have been cool to see him come with both and then go back to train with Luke or something after.
Yeah. I want to see more Luke.
I do want to see more Luke. And I understand, like, Kylo was supposed to be Luke's first student.
Yeah.
And by being his first student, like, Jedi are taken young, so Kylo Ren's probably going to be taken at a pretty young age to go with Luke, and he could be born any day now.
Any day now.
Any day now.
Right,
so that would kick it off. But yeah, I think, like, it was also kind of cool. Like, it was interesting to see all the hurt that Grogu has endured from the previous Jedi Order, especially with Order 66 and everything.
Yes.
And how he's kind of shut himself out of the Force, and now he's kind of starting to reawaken that. But I would have loved to see him kind of reawaken it a little bit more. Now I feel like he's kind of becoming more of like a gray Jedi in a way, where he still kind of has a bit more of the morality, but he's not part of the Order, and he doesn't agree with things like the attachment rule or whatever.
Yeah.
That's actually another big issue I had kind of with that scene, was like...
kind of stupid.
Luke beat Vader because he sensed that there was still some good in him, and he had an attachment to Vader in a way. Or I should say to Anakin. And kind of seeing him, like, I get it. Like, if you're too focused on missing the person that you loved rather than training to be a Jedi, like, that could be a little distracting. Mm-hmm. But also, like, feeling that passion for people, like, it worked for Luke. So seeing him kind of be like, no, we have to get all legalistic again, was... I didn't really like that quite as much. I don't know. What do you think?
It's hard to say, because, you know, this is Luke right after he becomes like a Jedi Master.
Yeah.
Right? Because, you know, Episode 6 just happened. It's been a rough 5 years for him, honestly.
Yeah.
You know, hey, but at least he's won the war, and then you know, the Empire is coming back. And, you know, Luke's stuck in that place where, you know, he needs to train Jedi.
Yep.
And then we'll find out in, like, Episode 8 that, you know, there was a school. And I think Luke can sense that something bad's going to happen. Because, you know, Jedi are they're time travelers, right?
Yeah.
But giving Grogu that decision, kind of a dick move. Because I think him and Ahsoka both knew the connection he had with Din Djarin. Should have sent him back.
Yeah.
Should have sent him back. I don't know why there had to be this big ceremony of picking between the chainmail. Sorry, not the chainmail. What's the armor? Beskar. The Beskar mail. The Beskar mail. That sounds weird.
That sounds so weird.
Whatever, I'm calling it the Beskar mail now. I don't see why he had to choose between that and the lightsaber.
Yeah. Yeah, it was...
Just give him the lightsaber, Luke!
Exactly. And, like, this could have worked out a little bit better if, like, maybe at the end of Mandalorian Season 2, there was, like, Grogu goes off with Luke, but then Luke senses that he should be with, like, Din Djarin and brings him back or something.
Right, yeah.
And then at least we still got, like, a really cool scene. We saw that was, like, a thing that was about to happen, but it just kind of, I didn't really vibe with that as much, unless they're gonna send him back some way. Later on, it felt kind of weird to me, like they backtracked on something that they originally weren't gonna backtrack on after seeing, like, how much fans really loved Grogu.
Yeah, it didn't need to happen.
Yeah,
I think at that point they just wanted to add too much to it. You know what I mean?
Facts.
All right, action. Top into it. Episode 7.
Okay.
To me, Episode 7 was a little bit bloated.
Yeah.
Now, it's pretty much an hour of just fighting.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I'm a big, like, action movie guy, and I love war movies, but, like, to me, it was a little long.
Yeah.
I think they should have had more time to kill. So like when the big battle was going on, Fennec Shan just goes and executes like all like the big like mirror and like the head of the Pike Syndicate.
Yeah.
I wanted more. I wanted like them to be punished more. I don't think it was a very like deserved death. But like I get it because it's a TV show and you only have an hour to do everything. There was just too much Star Wars action. You know, Star Wars action is when people have stormtrooper aim. And I think that was just it's kind of boring. It was slightly boring to me. There was points in the episode where I was just like, okay, no one's gonna die here. Especially like when what's her name? Those two girls go on top of that rooftop and snipe the Scorpita?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, those like okay, those were pretty cool though. Like those like scorpion like droid kind of things.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
Like holy crap! It also shows you how much technology has evolved in Star Wars. Like with the droidkas, you could go into their force fields.
Yeah.
And like lay bombs. Like they show that in the Clone Wars. You could slide under, lay detonators, get out of there, blow it up, and it's a contained explosion because of the force fields.
Yeah.
Or you could throw like shot grenades pretty much and just like take those down. But now like you can't even go into those like big blue force fields. Like you gotta fight to get in there. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, those were kind of cool.
Yeah.
There was kind of like 8 at-ats.
It made sense though. Like it wasn't something that they just put in that felt kind of like more of a
fan service type of thing.
More of a fan service thing. It made sense, or it wasn't something cool that they copied from like a different movie universe. Like it was just an evolution of the droidka, and I loved it so much.
Yeah, because it makes sense because the Pike Syndicate, they're kind of jerks and cowards, so they wouldn't send more people to fight. They would just send robots. Yeah. Because they're rich, they have all the money, all the power. Because, you know, they cut deals with like the citizens in town to destroy Boba Fett's whatever it's called clan. Say clan. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't enjoy this episode as much as I thought I was. Like I touched on a little bit. Cad Bane's death is kind of a cop out for me. There's one thing I want to focus on, but what do you think, Ashton? We'll talk about it after. Okay. Now, what are your thoughts about this episode?
For this episode, yeah, I kind of agree. After episode 6, I was really hoping that we were gonna get, like maybe a little more, like something big was gonna happen because they showed Luke, they showed Ahsoka. Yeah. I kind of like knew, okay, they probably won't send Luke in because like he's a Jedi, he's not gonna get involved with like a gang war. Yeah. But also I was kind of like really hoping that we'd see something happen. And I think also this episode, like again, I enjoyed it. But yeah, you kind of knew none of the characters were going to die. You kind of see like Din Djarin and Boba Fett backed into a corner and I'll fight to the death with you. This is the way. And it's like, ooh, are they going to die? And then you're like, wait, no, because Mandalorian season 3 is coming out. Like potentially Boba Fett could, but that would be like just a disservice to the character in a way. So you kind of know like he probably won't die. You kind of had an idea that Cad Bane could potentially die. Yeah.
At that point, everyone could die.
Yeah. So I wasn't like surprised by anything except for the Scorpion droids. Those things were so cool. Yeah, they're kind of cool. And then Grogu using the Force. Like I knew if he's gonna come back in this episode, he was gonna use the Force. Like he's coming in to save Mando. After they said like, oh, we can't, like the people of Freetown aren't coming. Like you knew Grogu was gonna come in and like just do something big. I think like I like Star Wars because like there's always a war going on and it shows you Star Wars exactly, and it kind of shows you like a little bit more of a smaller war, and kind of more of like this Western theme war as we kind of touched on before. And it, you know, the idea of like this sheriff and marshal like defending their land, or this good guy coming into like a corrupt city and trying to fix things. Typical Western stuff. Westerns used to be like the big movie thing, like as big as like comic book movies are now.
Clint Eastwood, John Glenn, huge.
huge, and it really I liked the whole Western sort of feel, but again, writing was not as up to par as I would have liked for this episode. Pacing was a little bit off too.
Yeah.
I
mean, there's only so much you can do with like a setting like that. I do have to give them props for how much like story they got out of like one city.
Yeah.
But like it was, the writing was a little lacking, especially in the earlier episodes with like just Boba Fett and the Tusken Raiders and the introduction of the Pike Syndicate.
Yeah.
It just it was sloppy, I must admit, but like I did love it. It's Star Wars dialogue. I enjoyed like a lot of the dialogue and little things that they added in. You could definitely tell that was more of a Favreau Filoni sort of decision. Absolutely.
I'm not saying like Rodrigo isn't like a Star Wars fan, but again, like you can kind of once you've been watching all this stuff for as long as we have, that's made from like Favreau or Filoni, you can kind of tell when something's not really their style. Yeah. And
you can tell when it's a studio decision.
Yeah, when it's a studio's decision or the influence of another executive that's like has an equal role. Yeah, I think overall the episode it did good, but I wouldn't rank it very high in my top episodes. Yeah. Like I would rank, I think the top for me, actually that's a good idea. Let's rank our top 3 episodes.
Okay.
So there's 7 episodes in this season.
Yeah.
Do you want to give off your number 3 and then I'll do number 3? We can rapid fire it.
Okay, I don't. Okay, give me 1 second.
Sure.
Give me 1 second. Episodes. I don't remember like what happened in some of these episodes. Oh wait, no. Episode. No. Well, episode. Give me a second. Okay. That does not help.
That doesn't help.
Google's not helping me right now.
I think I roughly remember some of the things though.
Oh, I can't remember which episode here we go. I found it. Number 3 for me, my third favorite episode is probably gonna be episode 3.
Okay.
So this is the start of bad things. This is when the Pike Syndicate blows up the Tusken's home, and this is when like you can tell he's gonna be like Liam Neeson and take and kill everyone.
Yeah.
And then this is the introduction of like the little like street youths, the Cyberpunk 2077 kids.
Yeah.
I think those characters are really cool. I think they're very different for Star Wars. They don't feel like Star Wars characters, which I think is kind of cool. They feel more like, Cyberpunk 2077 type of characters. Ashton, your third favorite.
Yeah, my third favorite, I think, would be episode 2.
Okay.
I just thought it was beautiful. Like, the world building that was done in that episode, showing kind of Boba's relationship to the Tuskens. And, like, they didn't really show it in the show, but he was with them for, like, 5 years.
Yeah.
Because he got out of that Sarlacc pit after episode 6, and, yeah, it was interesting. But seeing, like, him kind of become part of their tribe, and that like dancing thing that they did at the end, and just Tamara Morrison, like that was part of his culture as well, doing stuff like the haka, and heavily inspired by that, and so cool. I love that.
All right, episode number 2 for me is episode 6.
6.
Yes, from the desert comes a stranger. That one's like we talked about it. We just talked about it. Mm-hmm. I mean, like episode 6 is probably the most fan service episode in this show.
Yeah.
But it's good.
It's good.
It's good. I mean, it's a lot, but it's good. Introduction of Cad Bane, and just the start of the war. This is the start of the war.
Yeah. For sure.
That's all I have to say.
Okay, cool. That's all I have to say. My
about
pick
that.
for number 2 would be, it would probably be episode 5, Return of the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
The only reason it's not higher is because, like, Boba Fett doesn't show up whatsoever. And if the name hadn't been around Boba Fett for the series, this would easily be number 6. Mm-hmm. And even though Boba Fett only shows up for, like, 11 shots in episode 6, like, it's still... I love The Mandalorian, and that's why it's this high in the list. We'll put it that way.
And number 1 for me is episode 5. Man, I can't talk. Return of the Mandalorian. Yeah, no, I love this episode. Man just hijacked his show. No, I love the cinematography in this episode.
True.
I think that's a big thing.
Bryce
Dallas
Dallas
Howard
Howard did such a good job with directing this.
There's a oneer. You guys don't know what that is. That's a one continuous take. Right after the butcher scene, it's him walking up the elevator, out of the elevator, talking to the people, and down to the elevator. It's hard to notice if you're not looking for that type of stuff. But like when I saw it, I'm like, dang.
So cool.
And then when he fights like the big guy, like for the Darksaber, cinematography is great in that. So that's my favorite episode of season 1.
Yeah. Mine would be my number 1 would be chapter 6, just because I'm a sucker for fan service.
Yeah, I know you are.
Again, I said it before. Ahsoka and Luke, that sold it for me, and then Cad Bane showing up in live action was just like, it was enough to be like a really like my favorite episode for sure.
Okay, wait, Ashton.
Yeah.
Here's my fun fact of the day.
Okay.
Do you know when Boba Fett first appeared in Star Wars?
I think I do. Was it? Let's see. Was it the Christmas special?
It was the Christmas special.
Ooh, we're both nerds.
Do you know what he was doing in the Christmas special?
No, because I forget like 50% of that whole.
I watch it every Christmas.
I was right.
He was riding a like dinosaur-looking thing.
Ooh.
And do you know what he did in episode 7?
He rode a rancor.
He rode a rancor. I can't believe they referenced the Christmas special. I thought that was taboo. But yeah, that's actually
kind of cool.
Actually kind of cool.
I loved it, even with the Rancor kind of also making him look like Godzilla in a couple shots.
Dude, it was so cool. Oh
so
my
cool.
Goodness, that was actually kind of fire.
Yeah.
Alright, anything else, Ashton?
I think that's it for me.
Alright, guys. Thank you for listening. Just a reminder, we are on YouTube now.
Yeah.
Under Nerds and Flannel Podcast. We have all episodes out, all ad-free, because, we're not monetized yet, but, whatever. Go there and listen on there. We will have a video format coming out very soon.
Yep.
There are some things, some episode ideas that we can't do, like, on just audio, and we want to bring you guys,
Premium content. Yeah.
Yeah, guys. Until next time, I am Nat.
And I'm Ashton.
And we are the Nerds in Flannel.
Peace.
See you guys.